Yeah, we back at it. We had a little traffic snafu. Alex had me running around.
No, that was your plan, man. Don't pin it on me.
Alex had Alex had me running around like I was crazy.
Kirby want to
Uh,
be fancy. Go to a coffee shop.
yeah, I had to hit that. I had to hit that coffee joint. I had to hit that thing up, man. Uh, give us 1 second. I'm just trying to get my life together. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, so we got a couple people in.
yeah. I don't know if the live chat is open.
It is. It's
Oh,
open.
okay. Yeah, there you go. All right. So yeah. But anyway, all right. So just a few housekeeping notes that we need to get out of the way and talk about. Let me adjust a little bit, for y'all in the back there. All right. So just a few housekeeping notes. One of them is, hey Flo, how's it going? A couple of housekeeping notes out there is yes, the Discord has been shut down, disapproved, this to everything. We just got rid of the Discord. Many reasons why. Of course, I'm always gonna take the blame for it, but the I'll just be transparent. A lot of the reasons why is because I feel like I was just putting in too much work and not getting enough results. That's just the real truth of it is. And Alex and I'm gonna salute him for it because he had to point that out to me. Me, I was just grinding, just going through it, and then we pointing out like, dude, you're giving a lot of hours to inform people on what's going on, but you're not getting reciprocation. You're not getting the action. You're not getting people just actually just call it for black and blood terms and give a damn. So why are you doing that? And you could spend your time doing something else. And I mean, my wife was in my ear about it every now and then also. But when Alex said it, I ain't gonna lie. When he said it the first time, I got mad. Like, Alex, what the hell wrong with you? But
Yeah, I know.
I
I
was, I
know. I
was,
could tell.
yeah, I was upset. I was upset about it. But the truth of it is the reason. But he was right. He was 100% right. So I mean, I'll admit when I'm wrong. And Alex was 100% right on it. I mean, it's when you giving 110%, and then the people that's receiving the information is only giving 10% at best. What's the point of doing it? So what we try to do is combine it all into other social media platforms. You can check us out on Twitter, IG, Snapbook, Snapchat, whatever it's called out there, X, and different things like that. So just check us out there. We still gonna be giving out the same information, but just wasn't doing it in the Discord platform no more, which is all good. But with that going on, please subscribe to all those different apparatuses that I talked about. But Alex, let's talk about the cycle of money, man. Let's talk about the cycle of money. I know people get upset because we always talk about that mindset thing. And the truth of the matter is, Alex, we talk about it offline a lot. Is the mindset of getting money, keeping money is way more important than the money itself. Because once you have that mindset, you can make money, go broke. You can go anywhere in the world, and you can still replicate that formula once you have the mindset. But to be more open to the people out there that wants just to know how to make the money, and we don't care about the mindset. Let's just talk about just the cycle of money in general. So let's talk about that cycle of money, how it works, and let's first dive into your situation of when we first met, we talked about how making money, then making money, what is money used for? So let's dive into that. So what's your thoughts on that? Just the cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious on where you wanted to go with it. As far as what do you mean the cycle? Like, are you talking about getting started and then where it leads you? Like, just trying to understand because you came up with the topic idea. So
Oh, okay. So you're gonna blame this on the black man. That's what it is. I see. That's fine. That's fine. I'll work with it. I'll work with it. But no, I meant more like with the cycle of money. Like when you work your W-2 job, what is the purpose of your money? Is your purpose of your money is to go buy stuff? Is it the purpose of the money is to put it in the bank and then go buy assets and then have the assets pay for stuff? You know?
yeah, I mean, for me, it's the cycle for me. Okay, in that aspect is, yeah, I mean, using income that I earn, and putting it into assets to produce more income, and then that income that it produces, um, use it really as you want. I mean, I would say maybe in the beginning I was use I, and I, s- I would still say I use probably 90% of that income that comes from assets, or 95% towards reinvesting. It might
Right.
be like a 5% I use to like buy a meal or something, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And so all right, so when I look at the cycle of money, and then of course when I told you when we first met that, I save or invest 82% of my income. I mean, I know it was huge to you at that start
Yeah.
or at the beginning. But and then when I tell other people that, they thinking like, oh God, I'm making $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, 82% of my income. I'm gonna be sitting there living in a homeless shelter. But the truth of it is it wasn't. Hey, I woke up one day and 82% of my income. Whack. What happened is it was literally $50 a month. That's where it literally started. Everybody know my story. I grew up in Detroit, yada yada yada. I went to the military, got out of the military at the wrong time. uh, Went and bought a house with a heartbeat loan. I mean, heartbeat loan mean I just had a heartbeat. I didn't actually have any income, and they gave me a loan for a house. So I went and bought a house there. I got $250,000 in debt. Yada yada yada. But what happened is literally we started with $50 a month. It was $50 a month, and then at the time, then Alex, you know about this now. $50 a month couldn't get you in a mutual fund at that time. $50 a month. So I had to go into like first starters mutual fund. It was like the mutual fund for like basic investors. And then once I
Yeah.
got enough money, then I could pivot to the Qs. But that's how it actually started. It was just the $50 extra that we had a month. We start putting it into the mutual fund. And then after that, it was like, of course, everybody you always hear on social media, hey, cut expenses, cut expenses. I mean, at a certain point, it's so much that you can cut. the other
Right.
the other side of it is you got to get that top line higher. You got to make more money. But again, we started with $50 a month, and then we just kept putting the $50 in, kept putting the $50 in, and then every penny we made over what it took for us to survive. I ain't say live high on the hog, survive. We're just surviving. We got the $50 a month, but every penny we made over that, and that's including promotions, that's including switching jobs. That's including everything. Every penny over that we sent into the investment cycle. Of course, it took time. So $50 went to 150, went to 1,000, went to 2,000, went to 10,000, yada yada yada. But it was always based on the extra income. So then, with that swing, just doing that put us in a position, of course, making more money. That's how we got to 82%, was by kept making more money and just kept investing, kept investing, kept investing. Now my 82% or 18% to live off of is way different than somebody's working at a 9 to 5 job. Can we agree there? So that's is way different, but that's how we got there. It wasn't just wake up, whack. That's what it is. So what was it like on your side when you started hanging out with me and I brought you to the dark side?
I mean, I would say before even meeting you, I was still saving. I think I had gotten to a point where I was saving. I want to say I was saving about 500 a month, and then when I had met you, I was still trying to like save that 500, and then I was like investing, I think, like say 150 or 200 a month. And my expenses, I had kept them super low though, as most know that maybe have been watching the channel. Um, we had split the rent four ways. There was four of us living in an apartment. It was $750 a month plus utilities, about 200. And so we split that four ways. So my expenses were really low. I had a older car, no payment on it, no credit card debt, nothing like that. So I was able to, even though making 10.75, 11 an hour, I was able to save about 500, and then putting in a couple $100 into investing as well.
Right.
So that was that was about 40% of my income, I think, at the time.
Yeah, and for the record, for everybody that's watching, Alex is Stone cold nerd. I'm gonna say it 50 times, and don't say poor Alex. He know that's exactly what he is. I mean, most people don't get there, and hell, I didn't get to 40% until I was a couple years down the road, and of course, it made a lot more income, and that's what it was. I mean, like again, I said, it's only so much that you can cut. It's only so much
Yeah.
that you can cut. The light bill is gonna be the light bill. The utility bill is gonna be the utility bills. The rent's gonna be the rent, or the mortgage is gonna be the mortgage. The thing is everybody got to get a comfort level, and I don't mean a comfort level where it's, hey, we can go party on the weekend and we can go do all the nefarious things, and that's money that can be invested. I mean, just enough to, I mean, not just enough to survive. Literally, that's what it is. It's all right. We got this, and this is what we need to survive. Hey, if it's go to the grocery store every week or whatever, and we got a five, six, I know it's way higher now, $600-700 grocery bill, but just enough to survive. No extracurriculars starting off, and then as the income comes in, you get to invest more, invest more, invest more. But then, so Alex, you started in the stock market, and then now you pivoted to cash flow. So let's talk about how that worked for you. Especially you was new to the stock market, and then some crazy man told you, "Oh, well, now you got to get into real estate." So what was that? What was that like? Changing your asset from one class to moving them to the next?
I mean, real estate. I didn't get into real estate till what 2022,
Right.
something like that. So I mean, it was a couple years down the road. I think it was like 2 years after we spoke, after we first met. So 2 or 3 years, something like that. So it took a few years. First it was like um, putting money into the stock market, learning how to invest in the stock market, how to make income off the stock market. And then as I got more familiar with stocks, then real estate was just the next avenue to try and learn. And I had been educating myself somewhat on, watching videos and how to run numbers and stuff. I had that part down, but doing the process was totally different. That think doing the process of closing a deal is what you have to go through to really understand it.
Right, and absolutely, and for me, it was that same aspect. And I'll be 100% transparent with anybody. I never, ever, ever, ever in my life wanted to do real estate. That was something that was way off my radar. I've had other family members try to do real estate, and then they always made it look like it was so fabulous. But the truth of the matter was they was always broke. So I was like, oh, I'm not touching it. And then it just came a day where it was actually a contractor actually here at this house, and they brought up the idea of, hey, can't you? Don't you want? Well, they saw what I was doing. First, they were like, "Wait, he too young. How the hell is he even paying for this?" Because I was just sitting at home, and they working for me, and I'm sitting at home right here in this office. And then he was like, then he asked, he was like, "Do your family know how to do it?" And I was like, "No, this just it's a me thing." And then they said, "Don't you want something? If something happened to you, don't you want something for your family to be able to make money?" And I could have sit here and said, "Hey, old man, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Let me just handle my business." But it made sense. It made absolute sense.
Is the stock
Uh,
market hard to learn?
yeah, I seen that. I'm gonna get to that one in a second. But so it made sense. So that's how I jumped into real estate. To Levita's question about, is the stock market hard to learn? The thing is, if you want to get intricate, if you want to deep dive into the stock market, like do the fancy stuff. Like what I mean by do the fancy stuff is short stocks. If you want to use options, if you want to do iron condors and sell options and all this other fancy stuff, that's when you have to put in the work for it. But there's stocks, there's platforms, there's different applications they have in the stock market where you could just invest your money, invest your money, invest your money, and then you're
Yep.
looking for something that has a long lifespan that is showing results, like the SPY, VOO, QQQ, something like that that's shown historical results where it's averaging about, you want 10 to 13% return on your investment over the long term. And then you just get in there and you just keep investing. You invest in good times, you invest in bad times, and then that's all you have to do. Now, if you want to start getting exotic, if you want to start jumping into the meme stocks, or if you want to go into individual stocks, then you need a little bit more understanding the nuances of balance sheets, cash flow, making sure if the company's paying dividends that they got enough income to uh, they got enough income to cover the dividend, also have the cash flow to run the business and stuff. And then you got to get into the nuances of studying. But just for somebody to be in the stock market, and most people are in the stock market with 401ks, they just don't know what the hell they invested in. But no, it's you don't need to be on the level that we're on, trying to say, hey, this is what you need to do, and you know the different nuances of each individual Fortune 500 company and what they're doing, and see if it's an investable stock. You could just invest in a group of them and go on about life.
All right,
You
we have
don't
another
have.
question.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. So I mean, on to that. Yeah, I think when I first started in the stock market, um, or when I don't even want to say when I first started. When I first heard of the stock market and saw day traders and stuff, I remember thinking to myself like, "There's no way I'll ever figure that out." Like, it looks so confusing. Just all the charts, the graphs, and like they're just profiting and they're trying to like explain like, "Yeah, this is how I made money." I'm like, I still don't see what you're doing. But once you started showing me the small steps of how to understand what support levels are and resistance, and like it took time, but little by little, understanding those steps, understanding charts, how to read them, and then how to even just the basics of how to transfer money to your account, how to use that money to then buy a stock, how to sell, like the basics. Like once you start actually being involved, you start to understand. That's where I tell most people, before you just jump in the stock market, just buy, say, a couple shares of an index fund and just see how it moves. So you get the concept of, okay, like there's red days, there's green days. Okay, this is how you add to the share amount. Like, you don't just transfer the money and then you're like, oh, I'm investing in the stock market. Like, no, you just have cash in an account. So, understand the basics, and then little by little, build that knowledge level, and then you can start getting further into, like, you don't want to just be like, nothing, and then jump into like selling covered calls and stuff. Like, you're
Right,
not going to know what you're doing.
right.
So step by step, for
Yeah,
sure.
no, that's 100% true, and that's exactly how I did it. I started off with mutual funds, and I just kept doing mutual funds, and then I went to stocks, uh, and then just to show how old I am, like when I was buying stocks, you had to go on the company's website and buy the stocks. It wasn't like this, I didn't know about the different platforms out there to buy stocks, so I was literally on the company's website, like, hey, going to their. They had a section where you can actually purchase the stocks through the company website. But yeah, but then I started there, and then it took me a while to get off of that. It took me a while. Actually, I used to I used to think that I was a globetrotter trying to save the world in finance. So I used to post my financial ideas on Facebook, and then a guy reached out to me on Facebook Messenger, and he said, "Hey, your fundamental analysis is good. If you ever learn technical analysis, you'll kill the game." And of course I had to look up what technical analysis was. And then I just went there, and then I started doing technical analysis. If I hear new information, I'm always just going to jump on it and take off with it. I remember when the guy sent that message, it was right before Christmas, and I spent literally 3 days, 18 hours a day studying technical analysis and buying options, not selling, buying options. And then I did my first trade about a week before Christmas, and then I put like $300 in there. I was like, okay, I'm cool with losing this 350, but if it takes off, and then the 350 turned into 1400, and I was hooked. I was hooked forever. I was like, oh, and I was only in there for like 6 days, and then I was like, okay. And then that's when I got into technical analysis and started learning more. Like you said, adding more to my toolbox, and then then we eventually. It took years later for me to even get into selling options and iron condors, call spreads, and all that other stuff. But yeah, those
Yeah.
are different things out there. J0309. I truly believe you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Do you think we should just jump out the window, or jump out the window? Question mark. Do the homework and do a deal as far as real estate. Let's talk about your first deal. So JH question. So should you just jump out the window, or should you
I would
do some
say
research first? Homework.
yeah, do homework first. Do research, do homework first. But once you understand that feeling of like, oh, but what if it goes wrong here? What if I make this mistake? All that has to go out the window. So when you get to that level where you logically understand understand how to do the deal, then everything else is just emotion, and you should just jump out the window from there. And yeah, that first deal, that's what I did. I jumped out. Felt like a 20-story building window, but I did it, and it. You just have to push yourself through through that feeling.
Yeah, and the truth is, and of course, well, people that know me, I don't want to take any credit for anything that Alex does, but you need to be around people that's gonna push you out the window. Yeah, he could say he jumped out the window, but he was forced out the window also.
Yeah, Kirby
But you,
told me at gunpoint.
but but that
That's exactly what it was. It was a gun to the head or jump out the window. It was like I'm gonna
uh,
die either way.
right,
But
right. So it was good God. All right, so all right, so in reality, but it goes around a circle of people. I mean, if you're around the negative Nancy's and things of the world, I mean, Alex, let's I mean we can be transparent. I don't believe I ever asked you this question. When you was going about your first real estate deal, besides me, as you said, push you out the window, was it anybody else to ask you, hey, what the hell are you doing? No, you shouldn't do that. Was there anybody being a negative effect on that?
um, I wouldn't say in that moment, no. Like because most people they kind of just like knew I was doing stocks and they're like, oh, he must have it figured out. And but before going into real estate, I definitely heard the, oh, what if you get a bad tenant? You know, what if the bank just takes the house back? Like all those things that people don't really understand about real estate. But in the actual deal itself, I don't remember getting any negative feedback. But I also didn't tell too many people either. I kind of just kept it within, a small circle.
Yeah, Alex was trying to hide it. Like, hey, if this thing fails, I want nobody to know about this thing. Yeah. But yeah, so J.A. asked another one. He said, or do the 7 steps first before real estate. I guess he's saying 7 steps, Dave Ramsey. So Alex, this will be a good one for you. Like what you said, steps and processes are different for everybody. Um, so what do you believe? Where do you believe real estate fits at in just the whole cycle of working, using your income to buy assets? Where do you think real estate fits into that? Is it
So
before after stocks? Is it before after paying off consumer debt? Where do you place
to get into real estate,
that? Hmm.
I would. I mean, you don't have to do stocks first. There's obviously very successful real estate investors that don't touch stocks at all.
Hmm.
But they're extremely disciplined with their savings. And I know some of them might use like high interest savings accounts as well to help them. But I mean, you definitely need to be disciplined. I would say have your consumer debt paid off for sure. I would have that paid off. Aside from, I mean, your mortgage at your house or whatever, but car payments, credit cards, all that stuff, I think is important to get out the way so that you have more capital to save towards real estate, but also you have less liabilities in case something goes wrong with your property and you have to come out of pocket.
Right, and I'm just being transparent with real estate. I mean, everybody on social media make it sound great, but until you get to, I don't know, I want to say 5, 6, 7 properties, and the cash flow is up there. You got a big gap between your liabilities and cash flow on real estate. You have to be very careful what you do with your W-2 income because you might need to, supplement what's going on in real estate. So when Alex say getting rid of the real estate, I mean, get rid of the consumer debt, it's because it's to give you a cushion. I mean, I remember buying my first deal, and actually I paid cash for the first deal, and that's when uh, prices was very depressed here in Florida. I bought my first condo for like 52,000, I believe, 52,000. But then the rent itself was coming in, but different thing. AC unit goes out. AC unit won't cost you. Well, then it was only costing you about $3,000 to $4,000 for a new AC unit. But the rent that's coming in, $4,000, once you count for all the other expenses that goes on, property management, different nuances, HOA fees, condo fees, taxes, and all that, $6,000 could be the whole year of cash flow.
Yeah.
But you need the $4,000 to $6,000 now for the AC unit. Not you can't wait till the tenant pay all the rent for the whole year before you fix the AC unit. So starting off, that's why getting rid of the consumer debt is a huge point, because you're gonna need your W-2 income to supplement the different things. And we always talk about real estate being, 5 to 10 year journey. And then if you just keep going through the process and getting the real estate, getting the real estate, getting the real estate, and then you keep, being a good operator, taking care of the tenant, being able to raise rents, getting higher cash flow and things like that. That's when you start seeing the fruits of your labor. Probably about year five. Alex, you about what? Where you at in real estate now? About year five?
No, this is like year 3.
That's you like year three. You seeing any fruits of your labor? You keep buying them, so I guess you see something. So yeah, year three.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's cool. I mean, it's at the point where I think our cash flow is like a little over $1,000 right now. Nothing crazy,
Right.
but it shows now. It's starting to show. And then this next deal, I think our cash flow, once it's fully rented and managed, will bring our cash flow up another $700 or so, $800. So
Right.
that'll push us closer to 2,000.
Right.
So it's just one property at a time. But once they're managed, they're remodeled, fixed, all that stuff, and they're operating without you, then it's like, okay, now it's just move to the next one and keep increasing your cash flow.
We got one from Dev. I'm sorry I can't pronounce the second name. Alex, if you see it, but he said, "Is the
Yep.
stock market shortcut to wealth?"
I would say, yeah, it can be. If you understand it, and some people they just prefer to do stocks. They don't dabble in, real estate or nothing. But the stock market, I think, absolutely can be a shortcut to wealth if you understand it, and that's the key, understanding what you're doing in the stock market. But we see this and we see examples with quite a few people. I mean, on social media, you can see it, hedge fund managers. I mean, stocks have provided wealth for a lot of people.
Uh, Alex, I think that was a PG-13 answer, so I guess I'll go a little harder on it. You, I don't think you need to have that much knowledge. I mean, I figure when he's saying is stocks a shortcut to wealth, I mean he or she, sorry, Deb, uh, is talking about the stock market in general. Yes, it's a
Yeah.
shortcut. I mean, so
Mhm.
let's just look at it what it is. If you're not in the stock, let's say you're doing nothing else and you're not in the stock market, you're in a savings account. All right, high yield savings account, because the interest rates is coming down, so your high yield savings account's about 3%, 4%. So you're right at inflation. You're right there. So you're keeping up with inflation, but everybody know that the price of everything yesterday ain't the same price today. So
Right.
we get 5, 6, 7% inflation, then you're losing money sitting in a savings account. So the key to the stock market itself, let's say again, let's just stick with something basic, the S&P 500 or QQQs, or the Nasdaq 100, something like that. VO. Uh, if you just stay diligent and always consistently putting money in, good times, bad times, and you don't deviate from nothing. What I mean, no outside noise can ever distract you from the mission of putting money in. So let's just use just a raw number. Let's say if your goal or your mission or your budget says $1,000 a month. I don't care what happens. $1,000 a month is $1,000 a month every time. Cousin broke their leg. Oh well, I still ain't got no money. I mean, you got to treat it like a bill that, like, it's the IRS. That's what, like, because everybody know you can't write off IRS debt. You can't go to, bank. But that's how you gotta treat investing. You have to keep doing it no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. It's just gonna keep investing. But yeah, that will give you the life hack, and that's what happened with me. I just kept investing, no matter what happened, no matter what my income was. Every time I got more income, I didn't say, "Hey, I'm just gonna let life creep happen," or hey, just because now the family we bring in 6 figures, now I gotta look like I make 6 figures. I want to keep looking like I'm in the PJs, and I want to keep investing. But that's what happened. So the more money I made, the more money I got to invest. The more money I got to invest, and then you look up, and then one day you just look up, you get a bull market run after you invested a lot of money, and then there you is. You look up, you got 6, 7 figures in the bank account, and you keep going, and then so yeah, so I believe it is a shortcut. I believe it is a shortcut to wealth, because contrary to popular belief, most people will not save their way to $1 million. And I'm not saying $1 million is wealth, but that's usually the benchmark everybody shoots for. You can't save your way to $1 million. Just can't. Uh,
Here we have Rakaya says we have to do another video call. Yeah, let's
okay,
do it.
sounds good. Carlos said, Alex, was your first deal successful, or did you have to go at it again? I guess real estate deal. I guess real estate deal.
I would say it was successful. I didn't have to sell the property or nothing, and it's still operating today. So I would say it was successful, and also, I mean, I have to thank Kirby for guiding me through it. Honestly, I know he says it was my doing, but I give him a lot of credit. I mean, he helped. I tell people it was like he put a blindfold over me and was like, all right, keep walking. I had like no idea what was going on. I mean, it was very stressful because it was like, I mean, every little thing, like a realtor would call me and be like, all right, so the seller came back with, and I'm like acting like I understand what she's saying. And I was like, you know what? Give me a second. I'll call you back. Let me think about it. I was like, Kirby, I don't know what she's talking about. So, I mean, it was little things like that. So, I mean, props to Kirby. He helped me out. And I think he was like making sure I was not going to blow this up. But, yes, it was successful.
Yeah, now I was doing the choking motion because I want to choke Alex out every day. Uh, but no, but the truth of it is, I'm just a guidepost, man. That's really what it is. I mean, I was excited that somebody was willing just to go out there and even try it. I mean, of course, I mean, I wasn't frustrated at his question, but the thing is that I would give him the answer, but I would challenge him on the question when he asked me. I would challenge him on the question like,
Yeah, like
uh,
what do you think? What would you do?
yeah,
You know?
yeah. What would you think? Or what is the best way? What's the best avenue? Like when he said they won't come down to my number. Oh, how would you work this to get to your number? And then
Yeah,
we
and
start
then
talking about divorces.
even
Go ahead.
yeah, Kirby gets brutal. He even like because there was a corner of the pavement that was like broken. He was like threatened that they could get a lawsuit if someone trips. I was like, man, the realtor was like, okay, I'll tell the seller and like scare them into negotiating basically.
Yeah. So
But
yeah, but that's what it is. Is I want I try to force people to think outside of the box because most people think inside the box. Like, oh, this is the only way the deal can be done. Oh hell no, it ain't. No, you can you there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, and that's really what it was. But I mean, he accepted the challenge, and I ain't gonna lie and just be like, oh, it was all sunshine and rainbows. There was a lot of dark days where I was like, oh fuck, it's just this Kirby guy's crazy. I mean, he probably won't admit it now, but he was. And that's what it was. But it's having somebody to push you towards excellence, and that's literally what it is. It's always having somebody to force you to do more, because people can get comfortable and to be like, oh well, I'm doing enough. No, you always got to have that person there to be like, oh hell no, you gotta no, you ain't doing enough, you ain't doing enough, you ain't doing enough. You got to keep driving to push on. uh but yeah, so Alex's first real estate deal, my first real estate deal, it just turned out to be a success. I'm not gonna say I knew what the hell I was doing. I just jumped in. It was a guy, the same guy who asked me about the same guy who was remodeling my house. Actually, he told me about an area that was uh that was very underpriced, and then I just jumped in and did the real estate deal. And then a month later, I did another one, and I didn't even know what the hell I was doing the first one. But I did my first deal, and it's crazy. Those two tenants in those first two deals, those tenants are still there to the same day. So it worked
okay.
out for me because I never had to. I mean, and I was managing those myself, so I never had to go find new tenants. I never had to go do all that other stuff. But then I done had some deals that was shaky at the beginning. I mean, real shaky. It was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of people include me as like JG Wentworth. Oh, yeah, Alex don't know nothing about no JG Wentworth. But want cash now. What does starting small look like with real estate and property and stocks?
Starting small, I would say with stocks would be like what Kirby was saying. I mean, but then if you want cash now, it's hard to start small and see cash now. But
Well, I think this is what I mean. When they say it's like JG Wentworth won't cash now, they want to start small so they can have cash to go mess off in the streets. That's what I get.
okay. Yeah, I mean, starting small is like what you said, Kirby. It's like putting $50, $100, $150 a month in stocks. Just like having it on the side. It's kind of hard to start small in real estate. I mean, unless you're doing like REITs, which are just like real estate investment trusts on the stock market, where you're not really owning the property. You're just like investing in a real estate um, fund or something. Because real estate is very capital intensive, so kind of gotta go all in with that.
Uh, I guess if it's on me, I'll answer it a little different because Alex
Yeah.
want to be nice. Um, this is what I say. I say the amount of money you should put into the stock market is based on your age. If you're in your 20s, $50 a month, you good. You man, hopefully by the time you're in your 40s, you got that up to $500 a month, but you're golden. But if you're just starting out in your 40s, 50s, 60s, you need to put a lot more in the stock market to get the results that you want. Because if you put $50 in the stock market at the age of 50 years old and think that, oh, in 25 years at $50 a month, I'm gonna have some money, you're gonna have a rude awakening when you hit 65 years old or 59 and a half. That is the true reality of it. Time is the biggest multiplier of the stock market or of investments, period. That's the biggest multiplier, time. So the older you get and you starting, the more you need to put in. So hopefully the people that's in their 40s and 50s that's thinking about getting the stock market, hope you lived your good life back in your 30s and 20s, because now it's time to 100% focus and get more bullish or more focus on getting money into the stock market if that's what you want. If that's not what you want, and then you want to play the $50 a month game, then go ahead. That's but the true reality of it, it ain't gonna do you no good. You need
Yeah.
to, I mean, pull up a compound interest calculator, and you can put in any interest rate you want to. But if you want to put the minimum in at 40, 50, and then you think you're gonna live the high life at 59 and a half, you're sadly mistaken if you're not putting a lot of money in there. What we got here? What we got here? Oh, and then for real estate. Sorry. Like Alex said, real estate is capital intensive. It is. It is. If you own a home, and then you're trying to get into real estate, you're gonna have to, single family home, you're gonna have to put in 20% down. If you want to do multifamily, you have to put 25% down. But again, I believe that real estate benefits all, but it's easier for somebody who is not established far as capital needed. So if you're a younger couple in your 20s and 30s, and you're not lazy and you're okay with moving around, you can get into a rental property for 3.5% down with an FHA loan. You can get in with 5% down with just a regular uh,
Conventional loan.
conventional loan. There you go, Alex. Thanks for getting me on that one. But yeah, you can get in there for that until you move into a multifamily, 2, 3, 4 unit, live in one, rent out the rest, stay there for a year, year and a half, and then rinse, repeat, do it again. But if you already established and have a house, and then you want to go buy a rental property, you're going to need 20, 25% down. If you're doing it the conventional way, again, inside the box that everybody knows about. But there's other things out there, like Alex mentioned. You got the assumptions, you got seller finance, you got subject to. It's a lot of different apparatuses out there. But again, we can talk about these different things, but if you don't do the research on how to do these things, like add literal tools to your toolbox, then you can't do them. So you have to stay inside that box of just the traditional way that people buy real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Side note, love the mentoring, screen sharing, teaching last week in class, advising. Oh, amazing class from last week. Oh, thanks a lot. It looks like
Yes.
Joanna, she's waving by, or she's got a question.
I think she was saying she's just waving hello.
Oh,
Also,
okay. All right, cool.
Jay also said, if you don't mind, how close in location are you to? Are you close? If so, did that make it easier for the mentoring and mentorship? Did either of you offer coaching and mentoring? Um. So living, I mean, being close. I don't. I wouldn't say it made it like helped the mentorship. Kirby. was calling me at 2, 3, 4 in the morning that he didn't care. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was every day, every day, every night calling me. That's where the mentorship was. It wasn't really to meet up was just to like hang out or something, and then still go over a couple things, but not like that. Yeah, the mentorship was the real boot camp.
All
Uh,
right. All right, Alex, lying again. Let me tell you. We was meeting
no.
up. We was meeting up so I can go to hit Alex liquor cabinet. That's why we was meeting up. That
Oh
was
yeah, you would come
it.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's why we was meeting
yeah,
up. I mean, but
yeah,
the thing is no. I mean, when he says that, and Alex's wife, she can attest to it. I got on her damn nerves, and she won't. And she's such a sweetheart; she'll never admit it. But I got on her damn nerves. I'm calling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning. I didn't give a damn. When somebody say they want it, then we're gonna see how bad they want it. I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, are you wasting my time or not? But Alex, he'd be up there groggy eyed, like, oh. I'll be like, hello. Then he act like he was awake, like, yeah, well, I'm good. Let's go, baby. Oh no. But the thing is, every time he did that, I never stopped talking. I was like, yeah,
uh,
so this is what we got. You see this set up? And that's literally what we did. I mean, it was times where, I mean, of course, most people here is older than Alex, so you remember your 20s. You're not spending your Saturdays with this old man sitting on the computer listening to webinars about tax strategies and real estate and selling cover. That's literally what we did. I mean, like 6 to 8 hours every Saturday. We were sitting there doing it.
right,
But again, he wanted it. That's why he has the success that he has. Everybody else that don't want it, that's why they don't have the success that they don't have. But that's what really went into it. Alex want to make it sound nice, but his wife, I know those days. She ain't gonna never admit it, but I know those days she was like, "Don't he have a family or something to talk to? Because damn, he calling you
yeah,
too damn much." So, but that's still my girl. That's still
yeah.
my girl.
And we don't
Uh
we don't live that far. I mean, to Kirby, I live in like Mexico, but
oh yeah, yeah.
it's not that far.
We stay what about 30, 40 minutes away from each other.
30, yeah, 30, 40
Mhm.
minutes away.
Yeah, but that had nothing to do with the mentoring part. Also, that's probably it helped how we met, but that's about it.
Yeah,
But yeah, a phone call away to make him see if he wanted. Great. That was my question. Okay. Ruby going bullish now. She's talking. She's taking all my McDonald's money to go all in. Whatever. Guys, is your live broadcast recorded on YouTube? Oh yes, all these lives are also recorded on YouTube, so
yeah,
anybody can get in, jump in after the fact.
yep.
And Carlos, he ain't going all in. Alex want. Then
Uh,
Joanna said Alex wanted to
no,
call you at all
she
times.
hangs in there though. She'll be on the phone call like at 1 in the morning, falling asleep on the phone. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but I'm being 100% transparent, guys. I'm a guy, or I'm a person. I said a guy. No, I'm a guy. What the hell? I don't even know what the hell I am anymore. Good lord. But yeah, I'm a guy that I'm really into it. This is a lifestyle. So when we get back to the cycle of money, it's literally we work to put our money in a vehicle that's going to invest. I mean, the money goes into a vehicle, i.e., stocks, and that's what I do. That's what Alex do. We use the stock market to jump into real estate. That's what we do. We find something that's undervalued. We plow our money into it. Big positions. We not these whole diversification kings. The furthest we go with diversification is buying the ETF. Besides ETF, where we put like 50% or more, and Alex, you can change your numbers for you, but for me and my family, we put 50% or more in the ETFs, and then we only find two or three individual stocks, and we put a boatload of money in there to have it appreciate. But it's doing the research undervalued stocks. But the thing is, if you don't want to do the research, you know what you want to do. If you don't want to do the research, you should be in an ETF. You should be in SPY. You should be in QQQ. You should be in BOO. You should be in QQQI. That's a new one that we are doing a video on. That's where you should be at. But what we do is we build big positions, and then we let the market appreciate over time. We take the money from those individual stocks that appreciate over time, or ETF that appreciates over time. We take that money and then we go buy real estate. Then the cash flow from the real estate. I mean, in Alex case, he reinvests all that money back into the stock market, right, Alex? I mean, me, the money that I get from cash flow, it pays for my lifestyle, but a lot of that money is just saved, waiting for the next deal. But then the cycle still continues. All the other money that comes in, it goes through the stock market, it goes into real estate, the assets pay for it. But it didn't start off. The real estate was paying for my lifestyle. It was literally piece by piece. Like I had enough cash flow in real estate, it took over the cell phone bill. Then I had enough money from real estate. Then I had cell phone bill and utility. Then kept adding, got more cash flow. Then I have never had a car payment, but car payment took over insurance. It's slowly but surely. I mean, then eventually have the cash flow take over your personal mortgage you live in, and you just keep the cycle going, and you just stack it on top of stacking it on top of stacking it, and then that's how we have our real estate pay for our lifestyle. But the money that we still have coming in from other ventures, it goes back into the stock market, rinse and repeat to come around come around again to us. And it's a couple advantages of that. A couple of advantages of that is the tax benefits from it. I mean, you see the Grant Cardones. I mean, sometimes you can see me and Alex talking about not paying taxes. But one of the best places to park your money and to make money is in long-term buy and hold real estate, because you likely will not pay income taxes. So that's where I want majority of my income coming from, is real estate, so I don't have to pay taxes. So the active income, you're gonna pay a crap ton of taxes. So you got to find a way to alleviate that tax by being in a vehicle that you'll pay no taxes, so to balance out to little or no money out of your pocket.
Yeah, the IRS is watching now.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's legal. It's
No,
legal. Wait. It's legal. It's legal.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's the best strategy is taking income from the stock market, putting into real estate for that reason, especially. And it's just diversifying in asset classes. It's for that reason because real estate, once it's managed, it becomes very passive. Like in the beginning, probably that first year of getting the property or whatever, you got work to do. You got to get management. Maybe you got to put it into an LLC, whatever. So you're doing a bunch of stuff, but then once it's like just operating, then it becomes passive, and then you get the tax benefits and such. Stocks, I think, more so what we do in stocks is a little bit more active. So it's just transitioning that income and that capital.
Right. And when you say more active is because we greedy. I'm gonna call it what it is. We greedy. We can't just sit there and buy a stock and be like, oh, we gonna wait for you to go up to make money. We over here selling call options, selling put options. We making money on top of that also. But
Right.
like I said, but the thing is we willing to put in the work for it, and I'm
Right.
all for it. People that's willing to put in the work, then you can go into these exotic strategies. But if you're not willing, be truthful with yourself. You can lie to me all
Right.
day. You can lie to Alex all day, but be truthful with yourself. If you're not willing to do the work, just stick to an index fund that's going to average you 10, 12%. You're beating inflation. You're doing better than most. Just but the thing is be hungry about it. Just keep putting money in there. And when you get a promotion, please do not be like, oh, well, now I can go upgrade my car. No, you can upgrade your investment account. You can upgrade as much as you can invest. Because, I mean, literally, how it went, and I still remember how much I was making. I got out of the military after about 18 months. I was making $975 a month, Alex. 18 months. 18 months no job, player 975 seemed like I was a trillionaire. You hear me? So,
Man.
but the thing was, gas price was like $5 a gallon. So I was damn near paying to go to work. And then from there, I volunteered to deploy just so I could get rid of the consumer debt. And then my next job, I was paying like I was getting after I came back from Iraq. I came back. I was making like $16 an hour. $16 an hour, but my expenses was lower, way lower out there. So I just took that money, and that's when I just started, doing my thing. And then, of course, from there, the 18, $15 an hour went to $18 an hour. And then I had a large jump for a couple of years. It went to, a couple 100,000. But then after that, that was all I needed, because every dime I made, it went towards investing. Every dime. I mean, even when I was at the, $15 an hour, I mean, $18 an hour, whatever that was when I was at the factory, By the time I left to go to the job that was paying higher, I already had 100,000 invested because I just took every dime over what's it? Necessities. There
Necessities.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Necessities. Look at me. I'm over here stumbling and bumbling. But the necessities, uh, that's all I did. Every dime that was over the necessities, it was just investment. Like when it comes to how much money that me and my wife or my family had to use just to blow, and we could spend on ourselves. We literally went 2007. That number didn't increase to like 2000 and I believe 13. So 2008 or 2009, 2013, it was only $50 a month. That's all the money we used for just stuff that we wanted to do. That was it. Everything else was invested, and we did that for years and years. And then we just woke up one day. I think we was here in Florida. We was like, oh, is this number too low? So we were so used to it. It was like, and then now, of course, the number is whatever, But that's really what it came down to. It was the discipline to stay at the $50 a month, and of course y'all know me. I'm gonna get me a drink or two, so my money was going by the second. So I was just sitting over here hoping my wife liked me that month. And like, hey, here go my 50, because I needed to re up by the middle of the month. So that's really how it went. That's really how it went. But it didn't change. I didn't say, oh, I don't have no more money to get what I like, so I'm just gonna take a little extra and not invest. No, the investment was on our line item of our budget. Investment was first, and then we figured out how to live off the rest later. But that's literally what we did. We did that for years. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy.
See, Rakaya, she's got a question. Kirby, this is probably more for your
Mm-hmm.
expertise. Are
Mm-hmm.
there any grants and small business loans out there for business owners? Do you recommend getting that over funding it yourself?
Uh, well, grants. I'm just being honest. This is me. Grants. I am not a fan of getting grants. I believe in funding yourself because this is why I believe in funding yourself. If you really believe in yourself, you will produce the money to make it happen. It's easy to go get a write a loan or whatever and get it, and then oh yeah, you're on the hook, and then you can file bankruptcy to get out of it, or you could just bankrupt the business for a business loan. But if you really believe in your idea, you will come up for the money yourself. But when it comes to me, I don't know. I don't do business loans. Well, I hadn't had the opportunity to come up with a deal that I couldn't pay for that I needed a business loan. I should say that. But I don't think I would. I don't think I would go that route. I would find another way. I would use seller financing. I would use something else because when I look at businesses, I buy the business for the revenue. I don't buy. I'm not. I'm not trying to start a business from scratch. I'm not that damn smart. Let's be honest. But I'm not. I'm a person that believes in it. If you believe in it, you should be able to fund it yourself. Uh, and the best method to get rid of consumer debt, Alex.
I would say the best method is be intentional about it. Um, you have to want to get rid of it, meaning stop saving, stop spending, and all extra funds have to go to getting rid of that debt. So everything that is above what you need for your necessities, food, shelter, utilities, um, all that stuff, anything extra goes towards the consumer debt if you really want to get rid of it.
Uh, yeah, Alex, what you said is spot on. I remember a time when I was getting out of consumer debt, when I volunteered to go to Iraq for the third time. I went a literal year without spending a dime of my own money. I mean, I literally did everything that was free for the military. I would always go to the DFAC. I was never going to the PX and things like that to buy anything. I did it for a year, but all the 500,000 credit cards I had that was maxed out, I paid all those off. I paid off the truck, and that's what my mission was for. My mission to go there was to get it done. And then, I mean, even now, like, of course, Alex, you know that I use a credit card. I don't use my debit card. But I don't wait till the end of the month for the statement to come to say, hey, to pay this back. I'm not like these online gurus that be like, oh, statement balance. When you swipe the card, the payment is show up on your credit card 2 days later. That's when I pay it. I paid it 2 days later. I don't need no receipt coming back to my house saying this is what you owe. I can log into the app. Oh, you spent $1,800 a day. Okay, here's the money. But that's what it is. Like you said, intentional. The best method, I mean, you can go with the Dave Ramsey snowball method. The Dave Ramsey snowball method is just, I mean, as most people, I think what most people know is you line your debts up small to largest. You pay the minimum on all other debts, and then you throw being intentional, closing out the lowest debt. And then you take out after you pay off that lowest debt, you take all that money and go to the next lowest. And then you take all that money and go to the next lowest. And then you just keep going, 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 going. And of course, there's people out there that say, "Oh, you should tackle the highest interest first." No, it's a momentum problem. It's not a math problem. Like Dave Ramsey said, if it was a
Yeah.
math problem, then you wouldn't have got that situation in the first place. But
Yeah.
that's how you do it. You just keep going at it. But intentional is the key.
Yep. If there's any other questions, guys, feel free to ask.
All right, so Alex, when we talk about the different steps in the process for real estate, we talked about the first deals and things like that, and we talked about skill stacking and 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 doing so that $1,000 of cash flow you have now, and then you looking to close this deal, and you're gonna up your cash flow by about another 60% with just this deal alone.
Yeah.
So what you over there doing with that cash flow? You let your wife get a cup of coffee or something? What you doing?
Nah, man. I remember the first property. She was like, "Oh my gosh, finally we can spend money." I was like, "No, we can't. Sorry." Like, heck no. You're insane. So, yeah, so this is like property 5 now, and she's still not able to spend any money. But but it's just recycling that money back into the portfolio, man. That's it. Just trying to get more and more and more of it. Trying to build it. I mean, really, we want to get to a cash flow amount to where we're at, say 5 figures, where it's cash flow um, outside of work. And real estate is just one of those avenues that we have cash flow from. We consider our stocks as cash flow. We consider she sells health insurance as cash flow. So those things, revenue sources where it requires minimal to no work that's coming in. Um, but right now, what we're doing with that income is I'll put it aside for like um, either the next real estate deal or a real estate project. Like if I have to do a repair or remodel something. Um, I'm not comfortable yet with the amount to just go ahead and start like spending it on like luxury or leisure things yet. Like I said, we might like mostly when we're doing trips, like on real estate, whatever. We might grab like food or whatever with that money, but it's not like hey, man, Publix chicken. we're not we don't use the real estate money to like take vacations or anything. Um, so we're not at that point yet.
This guy, he'll starve you to death. He will starve you to death for one of those investment chips. Good lord! But no. But the thing is, Alex, you're 100% correct. I mean, people get a rental property and think, "Oh, I got a rental property, life's good." No, one rental property, you ain't there. 5 rental properties. If you get 5 rental properties in a year, your first year, you're not there because you still need that debt pay down, you still need that appreciation, and you still need that. You still need those rents to increase so you can have a bigger gap on cash flow.
Yeah.
So that's the true reality of it. I love the fact that you said you're not comfortable with spending the cash flow in case something catastrophic comes. You've been in it for 3 years or whatever. I've been in it for a little longer than that, and crazy stuff happens. You get 3, 4, 5, 10 moves on the same month. AC units break, especially here in Florida. Those $7,000 of crap. This attorney unit here in Florida costs about $3,500 to $5,000. So just imagine having to turn 4 of them in 1 month. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're 100% spot on. But I see people they'll get LLC or they'll start a business. Sorry, you can still see me.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll get an LLC or they'll start a business and 1 second. There we go. I dropped my earpiece. They'll get an LLC to start a business, and then the first thing they want to do is they want to go on trips. They want to go, I'm a business owner. I got to look the part. I got to go get a new car. I got to go get this. I got to look the part. But the true reality of it is no, the work just getting started. Now you got to go grind. You got to save. You got to build that buffer because bad stuff is going to happen. In business, bad stuff is going to happen. In real estate, bad stuff is going to happen. You're going to get a bad tenant. You're gonna get an AC unit, a hot water tank. You're gonna get a roof that's gonna come off. I had all those. You're gonna have those, and those are gonna be capital intensive. And I know people saying, "Oh, well, yeah, I just use insurance." So now, what you're gonna do with so if you get damage to a roof and then it's leaking inside the place, what you gonna do with that tenant during the whole time? You're gonna just say, "Oh, that tenant just got to suffer," till the insurance company come around 5-6 months later, or you just gonna put the family out and just be like, "Oh, whatever." I mean, of course, I'm not trying to say be a superhero or nothing, but those things happen. I mean, I literally had a fourplex that burned down to the ground, and poor family was displaced overnight. Those things happen.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you didn't get a couple $1,000s extra in your pocket and you say, "Oh, now I got to show everybody I'm a real estate investor," because that's
Yeah.
what most people do.
And the
Go
the
ahead.
thing too is we've been living off of my income from work
Mm-hmm.
for this entire time. So um we still use that income to cover everything, and then we still have money left over. So we're not at the point where we're like, okay, now we can finally pay off, bills with real estate cash or nothing. It's just anything extra outside of my income, and then even the extra that's left over, all that just keeps going back into investments until we're at the point where we want to maybe pull back from working at a 9 to 5 or whatever.
Yeah. Question. Can you go over stocks in general? What stocks are you watching? What do you see with them? What are your top three to invest in right now? None, none, and none. That's my true answer on individual stocks. Now, if you come to me with the stock, then I will give you an answer. But the reason why I got rid of the Discord channel was because I gave an opportunity for people to have a open conversation about different nuances and stuff, but it seemed like I was doing the work. So I will talk about the market in general, but I will not break down individual stocks because I'm just not doing it. I can spend my time doing something else. Uh,
Things that you go
all right.
through that
Oh,
bring.
what things did I go through when it burned down? That's a good question. So first off, I had a terrible property manager, but that was my fault also. And that was my fault because I didn't do the work. I just like, okay, it already had a property manager when I bought it. But thanks to my wife, she ended up firing the guy because I was just too busy doing other things. But anyway, so it probably burned down. He called like nothing was going. He was calling like it was a Sunday afternoon. Hey man, how's it going? I'm like, all right. And then he was like, oh, I just want to let you know the fourplex burned down. One of the tennis kids was playing with matches, and the whole thing burned down. I'm like, what? like did somebody die? You know what I mean? And but he was talking like, and then so next thing you know, the first thing I thought was, oh crap. And I did reach out to the insurance company, after they poured like 50,000 gallons of water inside my fourplex, and then reached out to the Red Cross, to help them, give them a place because this happened like late at night. But he didn't call me till the next morning, but it happened late at night. And then reached out to the Red Cross to help them. I actually did. I gave all the tenants back their security deposits. That was the first I was going. I called Red Cross, gave them back their security deposits because I knew it was going to take damn near a year to rebuild the place. And of course, then after that, I just went empty for a year. And that's another thing of understanding what kind of insurance you get. Don't ever get owner occupied insurance on a rental property because with uh, real estate or landlord properties, that insurance will actually supplement you with the income from the tenant. So those 4 units, even though they was vacant, the insurance company paid me the rent for those tenants for the year that the property was down.
Yep.
So that's how I navigated that. And I believe at the time that property was paid off. The property was actually paid off because I paid cash for that property also. But now, of course, I gotta refinance it, to the capital out and all that other stuff. But after that, that's what happened. So that's the stuff that I had.
Yeah.
You said I think that's why some are scared to get in. Oh yeah, and I understand that's stuff that happens. But again, is the key the key to it is understanding. Don't sit there and try to cut corners. Don't go into real estate trying to cut. I'm not saying go in there and try to act big dog and put granite and all that. But what I'm saying, don't cut corners. Yes, regular insurance is regular insurance is cheaper than landlord insurance. But if something bad happens, landlord insurance is going to pay you for the bad things that happen. If you get regular homeowners insurance, then you're going to be screwed. So, but yeah, look, those things happen. Those things, be prepared, not surprised. That's my motto. So yeah, and then it could become a liability overnight. I said, no, it's still an asset because, like I said, I had landlord insurance. I was still collecting rent. I was still collecting rent. If I had a mortgage on there, I could still pay the mortgage, and then I was getting the property built. And that right there, the one that burned down was a multi-family, it was a fourplex. Thank you guys your time for Alex. What's it?
She's she's trying to say thank you for teaching.
Oh, okay. All right, all right. I just didn't want
That's
to. I
her
just didn't
best
want
version of English.
to.
That
Okay,
is,
there we go. There we go.
yeah.
And then Alex, single family versus multifamily, and then we'll wrap it up at the end of this one. What you got? Which one is the best of best?
So I like them both, but they have their own benefits and pros and cons. They have their both, they're both different. So single family, the appreciation aspect I think is a lot more because you can sell not only to investors, but you can sell also to to families. Sorry, I'm getting all jacked up here. You can sell to families as well. So basically, an investor is going to pay you based off of what those rents are. So, investor may not pay as high as like a family would pay you to live in that location, because they're looking at the zone and what's around the area and stuff. So, single families have that benefit, more appreciation. They also have more long-term tenants than multifamily. Like Kirby, like your single family tenants from those condos, they're still in there, and that was like you got those how long ago?
Like 10 years
Like
ago.
back in the 80s, yeah. So so, so they're still there, man. So I mean, like you don't have to turn over the units and remodel them and go through that whole process over and over. Multifamily, for cash flow reasons, the income is a lot more than a single family, I would say, because you have multiple units, and then you can also get into the scenario where like one unit covers the entire mortgage, and then the other units is just freed up. So that's the other benefits of multifamilies. But the cool aspect with those two is the more you raise the rents, and if you're raising rents every year, you're raising the equity or the appreciation of that property as well, because you're making it more attractive to the next investor that you sell it off to, if you sell it.
Yeah, and then the drawbacks for each one of those single family, if you have a mortgage on the property, the drawbacks that everything Alex said about the benefits are spot on, so no need to rehash that. But the drawbacks to it, a single family, if you have a mortgage on the property, the tenant moves out, you're responsible for that mortgage. When you have a multifamily and then you have a mortgage on there, and one family moves out, you still have three other families, or let's say if it's a duplex or fourplex, you still have another families that can still cover the mortgage while you work on filling that other unit. So those are the drawbacks of it. But usually with single family, like Alex said, I got people that's been in units since the beginning.
Hmm.
They do stay in longer. I don't have no intention of selling single family units. Condos, that's a different thing. But single family units, I have no intention of selling them. But the people usually stay in there longer. Uh, and you don't get that turn. You don't get that turn to like tenants moving out like every 2 years or whatever. But if you did get that turn, you could get more rent, but I care about the people staying there longer, so I don't have to deal with not the liability, but the cost of just turning units over and over and over.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, luckily I haven't got to that point yet where like I have to fill the single family unit because the tenant moved out or nothing. But yeah, that would be a hard spot to be in, especially if you have a mortgage, covering that mortgage. And that's the thing. Maybe you have to have more properties to cover. The cash flow from other properties can cover that mortgage if once you have tenants moving out. But um, that's something to be mindful of when you're buying multi versus single family.
But yeah, it goes back to the same thing you said: is get rid of consumer debt because you might
Yeah,
need your W-2 income to cover it. I mean, it's gonna take time. Everybody I mean, not everybody. Many people think that they're gonna get one rental property or two rental properties, and then they can go put their feet up in the sun and be sitting on the beach. No, it's just not
yeah,
reality. It takes time. It takes time. I know people who retired off just 5 units, but it took them 5 or 10. It took them 10 or 15 years to do it. The
yeah,
time is getting that debt pay down, getting that appreciation, getting the cash flow higher. That's the time that you need. When you first get into a unit, you're not going to have, I mean, Alex said it best. He's been doing it 3 years. Now he got, 1,000. Now it's about $1,500, $1,600 a month in cash. But over time, those same units are going to be producing them 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 months in cash flow because now debt pay down, rent increases. Those are the different nuances and things that go on. So you need time, like time in the game. You need that time in the game. I don't care if you go buy a multifamily, a 10, 15 unit right now. You still need time for, to reset the market, to reset the prices, to move tenants out, move tenants in at a higher rate, rehab the
yeah.
place. It's still going to take time to do it. So if you don't ever start, you won't have a finish point.
Right,
Or you can just take forever, and then next thing you know, you're gonna wake up, you're 59 and a half, 60, and then you're gonna be like, oh, what the hell happened? And then you're gonna be like, oh, I remember when. And that's usually how it goes.
yeah. We'll close it out there. Um, I mean, to the questions on stocks, though, guys, we do uh, post videos on stocks. I think today we actually did one. So keep an eye on the channel if you want to see stock breakdowns. And we do this live every Saturday at 12. So stay tuned for the next one as well.
Or you can join the X account, and then you see some stuff there. But I mean, I'm not trying to be a butthole about it. It's just I've done so much research and put out so much information about stocks, and people just be like, oh, okay, oh, and then they did nothing with it. So I don't sit there and waste my time sitting there researching stocks for everybody else, and they do nothing with it. I gave up 4 years of that. The benefits didn't equate to the time, so that's why I don't do it. So again, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I just rather spend my time doing something else. Best thing people need to do is get into an ETF and call it a day.
Yeah, exactly. And then, yes, we do increase rents every year. That was the last question. Every year. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys on the next live. Follow all the social media pages. We got Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I
Wait, I
think
said, wait.
Facebook.
I just saw this. Do you try to increase rates every year? I would say increase them every month if you had
Yeah, every
the
month,
chance.
man. Every day.
But yeah.
Yes. But all right, guys. We'll see you.